Keep it on and poppin'. Started keep it on and poppin'. Ooh, yeah. What's poppin', y'all? It's Acpeezy. So today I'm coming at you with my first ever Halloween tutorial. And if you know me, you're probably confused because you know I don't celebrate Halloween. But I have been getting very inspired by the Halloween looks I have been seeing. And the Dark Knight Joker character is one of my favorite characters ever. I do realize that my mouth is probably the most intriguing part of this video, so if you guys want to know exactly when I start on doing this mouth, I'll leave the seconds down below in the description. This tutorial is actually like friendly for boys and girls. The only thing is, like, boys, you probably are gonna want to skip a few steps that you might not like, but if you guys are just overall intrigued in this look and want to figure out how I got it, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I just did this look like right now, and I did it like to resemble the texture of his face and the messiness. It was everywhere, but since I do makeup, I couldn't look at my skin looking so bad like that, so I was like, you know what, I'm doing a glam Joker look instead. I don't care. Yes, my eyebrows are very harsh in the front right now and just in general because we are doing a really deep black smoky eye and a crazy mouth. As I just said, it is a glam Joker, so that's why I do have eyebrows. What I'm gonna do is, instead of doing like a pasty mask skin situation, which was terrible, I'm just gonna do a foundation routine, but with the palest shade that I have. This is the LA Girl Pro Coverage High Definition Longwear Illuminating Foundation, and this is in the shade Porcelain. This is gonna wipe me out. So I am just gonna use a primer. I'm going in with the Milk Makeup Blur Stick, literally my go-to. It's just like the Professional from Benefit, but in a stick form. So it's like, in my opinion, easier to just like rub on and then go about my day. Like I said, I'm going to go in with the LA Girl foundation and just using an Equals Tool sponge, and I'm just gonna blend that in and do a flawless base, okay? I'm about to be whited out though, so. I am going to be switching over to a voiceover, but now I am grabbing my CoverGirl Loose powder, and I am basically going to be baking my entire face, but focusing most of the powder directly on my under eyes and my nose. Going into the Morphe 3502 palette, I am going to be taking the black shade on the flat, fluffy brush and just packing that onto my lid and blending it out a little bit into the crease. But don't worry about being too perfect on this because it is going to get a little bit messy later. And going right back into the palette, I am going to be taking a lighter brown and a little bit of a plum shade, mixing them together, and then using those two tones to blend out the very edge of the black into my crease. And now just wiping away all that bake and all that extra powder that we have sitting on our face. And I did feel that I went in a little too close to my nose with the black shadow, so I am taking a little bit more powder and just placing it right there on the edge just to make it a little more gradient and a little less visible. Going back in with some more powder, placing that a little bit lower than I usually would because we're just using this to catch a little bit of fallout that might happen with the lower lash line, and then grabbing a small brush, going into that black once again and just lining that all throughout the lower lash line. Reaching for a fluffier brush that will be easy to blend out your lower lash line, I'm going to be going back into the palette and taking the two shades I used to blend out my crease on my lid, but also taking a little bit of a red just to blend it out a little bit further. And you will be seeing me go back and forth within the crease brushes and the colors just to make sure everything is pigmented and well blended out, but nothing too perfect. And once again, wiping away the bait that we placed down, and now we will be moving into some lashes. These are in the style Drama by Lash Ivy. And if you guys are struggling on learning how to place eyelashes on correctly, I will leave a little iCard and a link in the description where you can find my video on how to put them on. And now what I'm going to be doing is just taking the foundation off of my lips and then going in with the Japanesque brush into my Morphe 35W palette. I low-key don't even know if they make these anymore. But I'm going to be grabbing that gray shade and then just doing a little bit of contour. I wanted a very cool tone contour today. Now jumping into the mouth, I am going to be taking the NYX lip liner in the shade Burgundy and just lining my lips as normal to start off. Once you have your lips lined normally, what you want to do is start building your lip line only in the center. So just right above the cupid's bow and the center of the bottom lip, I am going to be pretty drastically overlining just that area. And when we're done overlining our lips, I am going to start by contouring the lip, I believe this is called, where I'm going to be drawing 3 lines on my upper and bottom lip just to add dimension and a little bit of a pout. And sadly, I did lose the footage of me drawing this line on the outer corners of my mouth, but all you want to do is go from the outer corner of your mouth all the way towards the outer corner of your eye and just stop right about where your nose starts. And then what we're going to start doing is connecting the lines and making it a smooth transition. So what you're going to do is draw a line to connect where you overlined your bottom lip all the way to the line of the like smirk, I guess you could call it. And I did a close-up right here just so you could see exactly what I'm talking about. So a little bit of a diagonal line connecting both of them, making sure it's a smooth transition, and then filling it in. Now for this pencil portion of the mouth, I do recommend you to take your time and make it as precise as possible is what I'm trying to say, because we are going to be setting this. So you do want to make sure there's no crooked lines and everything is very smooth, structured, and even. So make sure you take your time, make sure you give yourself enough time for this step. And then once you're done, we are going to be going in with some eyeshadows to set it. And like I said, we are going to be going into some eyeshadows to set it. So I am going to be taking that vibrant red in that palette and a little bit of a plummy brown and taking that on a bullet brush or any small brush that you have and just packing that onto the liner that we just did and just making sure it's very set and that it won't budge. And now that we have that all set, going in with a blending brush and grabbing a little bit of a muted red, a brown, and a tap of that orange, taking that on my brush and then slowly blending out the mouth. This is gonna mimic how smudgy and messy the Joker's mouth is, and it's just gonna look a little bit creepier too. It gives it a lot of dimension. And as we're blending that out, we are gonna avoid the middle of the mouth where we really overlined and accentuated it. As you can see, when I get closer to the center of my mouth, I kind of feather it in and a little bit out so it is more wide and it just expands the mouth a little bit. And now taking that plum shade and that same muted red on the same brush, I am going to be grabbing a little bit of that and just focusing it closer to my actual mouth so it's more of a gradient as it fades up. And if you ever need to go back and redefine the mouth with the pencil, go ahead and do that, but make sure you set it before you start blending once again, just so it doesn't get everywhere and you don't lose the structure of the mouth. Now that I could see where the mouth was going, I did grab more of that plum shade and just focus it on the edges of my mouth just to create more dimension. And as you guys saw, I did grab more of that vibrant red and just one of the deeper browns that are in the palette, mix those two together and then focused it more towards my mouth and a little bit more above the line than under the line of the mouth that we created, just to make it a little bit more muddier, a little bit more bloodier, you know, all of that. Bet. So now what we're doing is we're basically just going to be cleaning up the mouth like you would clean up your contour, your bronzer. So just baking under it, but we're also going to be baking all the way around it. So I decided that I didn't like the way I filled in the edges of my lips, so I did grab a Q-tip and just slightly blend it out and then ended up just taking it all the way off and then reapplied the lines that we created earlier to create more of that pout. But make sure if you do end up doing the exact same thing that I am doing right now, that you don't take off the overlining of the lips that we did prior. You want to just take off anything you had on your actual lips. Alright, so this is my favorite part. So I just went in with some clear lip gloss. I got this actually from Lavish. If you guys haven't seen my try on haul from them, I'll link it down below. But just use any beauty supply $1 lip gloss or anything, but make sure it's clear and then just pack it on. And what I did is I put it all over my lips, but I also put it where we overlined my lips. And I wouldn't necessarily say it made it look more natural, but it just makes your lips look really big, and this is just a bomb look. And now taking the brush that we use for our lower lash line for that black shadow, I'm just grabbing it with no extra product and just using it to slightly define the mouth a little bit more. So exactly where we set the pencil is where I'm just lining a little bit, just so it is a little bit more defined, but it still looks very blended. Okay, so this part is very optional because I did this part just to be more true to character, I would say, but you could also just leave it with a little bit of a smoky lower lash line. But what I started to do was grab the black that we were using and just smudge it really low on my lower lash line just to mimic the eyes of the Joker. His were very opaque, but I wanted mine to be a little bit more faded, a little bit more tired looking, I guess, like zombie-ish. I don't know. I do recommend this more for the guys just because I figured that girls probably won't want to be having black eyeshadow all the way down their face, but guys are more likely to dress up all the way to character. So this is more for the guy part, but I did feel like I did bring it down a little bit too low, so I grabbed some more translucent powder. I'm sorry if you have dry skin, but I used it to clean it up a little bit, shape it up a little bit, and just help it fade out into my foundation. Now I did go back in with some more black eyeshadow just to deepen it up closer to the lash line, but I did leave it a little bit patchier, lower on my face. I don't know, I just decided to keep it in that realm of looks. But now finally I get to spray my face, so for all your dry skin people, you're being revived. I got you. Now I am going to be applying some highlighter. I did use the Diamond Veil, I believe it's called, by Fenty Beauty from their new launch. I love this with a passion, bro. Like, it literally looks like glass, like wet skin, like edited makeup. Like, it's perfect. And it is very glittery, but I love it. So I did just go ahead and regularly highlight my face. The only places I didn't highlight were my Cupid's bow and my inner corner. So now I'm finally moving on to hair. We're grabbing some paper towels. I'm going to be using my Equal Tools styling gel today. I know this is bad for you, but this is literally all I had. And then grabbing some green face paint. This is a little palette that I was trying to use for my first get-go at this tutorial. It wasn't working out though. So showing you guys how my hair looks right now. And then we're going to start by grabbing a glob. And I mean a glob of this gel. And then mixing in some of that green face paint just to tint my hair a little bit. So as you guys will see throughout me trying to blend this out, the green face paint wasn't breaking down, so it wasn't spreading in my hair easily. So I did have to kind of violently rub it on my hairline. But since that wasn't working, we did end up just going in with the Jaclyn Hill palette and using a mixture of that deep green and that teal blue shade. And I did grab this on a very fluffy Wet n Wild brush just to cover more ground, and then I just started running that through my hairline. And I did take it onto my forehead a little bit just so you can see the color more, since my hair is very dark, so it wasn't showing up too well. And now I'm just going to be doing my baby hairs. I do feel like this amplified the look a lot and just made it an actual look, so I do recommend you guys do that. I'm in the game to win some. She didn't want to roll with me until she seen a break come. But this is the finished look, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. My social medias are always linked down below and are shown at the end of this video. Hopefully you guys do recreate the look, and if you do, please tag me in it. This is like a very new video for me, so remember to show some love, and thank you guys for watching. Don't talk to me, I beg you. When I'm on that plane, I'm